Hi, welcome to Political News in 5. This is a summary of the news that happened between February 11th and 17th, 2018. Now, first on my list is underage voting and difficulty in getting registered. The videos from the Kano local government elections have shocked everyone. But the thing is, from the video, it's hard to tell whether those boys have PVCs or not. So are they registered voters, or is this just a case of clear-cut rigging? We need INEC to also determine that. If it is a case that they do have PVCs, then INEC knows that there's something wrong with the registration process. Those boys should never have been registered in the first place. They need to close the loops. Second, people are complaining all over the country that it's hard to register, it's a tedious process, and the staff seem overwhelmed. INEC, it's time to ask for volunteers. And then we've had fights between the National Assembly and the presidency over the election schedule. In fact, so bad that someone is alleging that the attempt of the National Assembly to change the election schedule amounts to a coup. This should raise our attention and should make us ask, what's so special about the order of elections and why are we fighting about it right now? It's clear that NAS has passed it. It's also looking clear that the president is going to veto it, which means that NAS will have to override it with 2/3 of its members. And this is likely going to end up challenged in court as something that's unconstitutional. So it's looking like our 2019 elections are going to be tied up in the courts the same way they were in 2007, with the requirement for constitutional interpretations of some of these provisions. Some people think that NAS is being self-serving. Why are they changing this? It's selfish of them, especially since they're dragging out the elections to 3 days instead of the initial 2. I think these tensions just deepen our democracy and politics, and it should make us wary about the fact that there's something fishy about election schedules. What we should be spending time talking about is how we can create a level playing field for everybody who's running, and maybe we should have elections on one day. Yes, it will be a logistical nightmare, but that's something we should be looking at. Third, it's the Not Too Young to Run bill have finally passed the minimum threshold of states that have supported the bill. So it's looking like it's going to sail through as a constitutional amendment. Way to go. Not Too Young to Run have shown us how to run a committed and focused campaign with very catchy messaging. Now for them to translate that victory into victory at the election polls. So well done. Then the next thing that's interesting for me is back to the Electoral Act and the amendments. I'm worried that this fight over the schedule is going to ensure that we overlook some of the very good provisions that are already in there, and it's very likely that the entire bill might be thrown out just because of the scheduling issues. Some of what is good in there is that we have electronic voting, definitely guaranteed. The fact that Big Brother Nigeria in 2017 had 26 million voters for the final week gives me hope. That's just 4 million votes less than we had for the 1999 presidential election. So I think we're ripe for electronic voting. And then the fact that INEC is going to have to keep an electronic register polling unit by polling unit telling us what the results were. I think that's also great. Then there's the politics of security in Zamfara and to constitutional reform and conversations about restructuring. Now, the allegations against the governor is that these men who are terrorizing the citizens and residents of Zamfara are people who used to be under his protection, and when he now felt more secure, he cut them loose, and now they're running rampage, killing people, terrorizing people, dispensing justice, basically taking the role of the state. Now, thinking about the politics of restructuring and state police, what's happening in Zamfara should give us concern. Why? One, there's a really good sense that the same way the Zamfara governor used these people is the same way most people are going to use state police, which is as private militia to kill, maim, silence opposition. And then the second worry is that many states don't have any money. So they'll arm these men and they'll stop paying their salaries. What do we expect next? So really we should think about it very carefully. And so in that, I had to come back to my question of the week, which is tied to what we've been talking about this last couple of minutes. And for me, it's this. I think we have too many parties, and we really need to revisit that question about unlimited rights for association, in the sense that, every association can be a political party. So should we rethink the freedom to create political parties, or should we restrict it? Are we strengthening or weakening our democracy with this unlimited number of political parties that we have? So that's the question of the week. Think about it. Thank you for watching, and see you next week.